Welcome! Launch is a series of short videos and curated resources to support and equip ministry leaders for the important work that God calls us to, the work of growing in love of God and neighbor for the transformation of today's world. Today's focus is teeter-totter planning.
I'm Tanya Campen.
I'm Christine Hides.
And I'm Kathy Pittenger, and we're your launch team.
So we like to start these videos with a quick intro and a playful question. So here's one. What animal best describes your fall ministry plan?
Phew, this is a fun question. I'm going with chameleon because many of the species of chameleons have the ability to change colors depending on what's going on around it. And I feel like so much of what I am doing depends on what's going on around me. And it's important for me to be able to adapt and change quickly while keeping my core the same.
I really like that, Kathy, the image of chameleon, especially during this time. I'm going to go with dolphin. My son and I have been enjoying watching documentaries on dolphins during the pandemic, and I'm learning that they are thinkers with the ability to use tools to solve problems and can develop new behaviors in response to their environment. So as we plan and move forward, I know that I will need to use the tools that God gives me to identify new ways to respond to current challenges and realities. Dolphins are also known for their playful spirit, and I think this is important too as we move forward.
I love that playful spirit. Yes, dolphins. I am going to go with frog because forever relying on God, that acronym has been a part of our church for a long time. And also frogs are amphibians, so they are able to thrive on both land and water. And as I look ahead, I think that our ministry needs to be amphibious, able to thrive both online and in person. I'm going with frog.
Like it.
Yeah. So not an animal, but a teeter-totter is another image for me that describes planning for faith formation right now. Imagine a ministry plan that is built on your purpose or why. So that's the fulcrum of the teeter-totter. And then on one side, you have your online at-home ministry, and on the other, you have your in-person or gathered ministry. And those two things are connected by digital platforms and tools that enable you to pivot and shift. So I'm wondering, Kathy, if you could talk a little bit about how to get started creating a teeter-totter shaped plan and kind of the base of that.
Yeah, so if we continue with that building metaphor, anytime you build something, there are a few steps that you need to take to get ready. The first is a landscape survey. They need a blueprint and the building process. So step one is surveying the landscape. Listen to your congregation, know your context, be in touch with what's going on around you. The second is the blueprint. In order to make a plan, you will need your why, which we covered in our very first launch playlist. You'll also need to know the guidelines and protocols from your church, denomination, local and state governments that inform your in-person ministry options so that you know when to shift. And you'll need a list of shifts and assumptions that you've created from your landscape survey or listening sessions. And then online tools that connect you, your in-person and online or at-home ministry. And we have another playlist coming out soon that talks about how to choose your online ministry tools. So Tanya, you want to continue on?
Sure thing. Once you survey your landscape and you lay out your blueprints, you should have all the information and insight you need to build an adaptive, flexible, and innovative hybrid ministry. And we're going to talk more about hybrid ministry in another playlist. But as you plan your hybrid ministry, you use your blueprints to help you by celebrating what you are doing well. Then you discern what God is calling you to do next. Then you identify any ministry possibilities, thinking about in-person and gathered possibilities as applicable to your context. Then you implement your ideas. And finally, you want to make sure you take time to evaluate your ministry along the way. This will help ensure you are staying attuned and faithful to your why, any shifting realities of the world, and that you're paying attention to the needs of your people. No matter what, stay flexible and trust that God is moving in and through the process. If something doesn't seem to be working, ask, what can I tweak? But no matter what, don't jump off the teeter-totter at the first sign of discomfort or anxiety, because we all know what happens when someone jumps off too quickly, right? Trust in your work, trust in your team, and trust in God's guiding presence.
Thank you, Tanya. I do remember what it's like to have someone jump off the teeter-totter. So thank you for that reminder to trust in your work, trust in your team, and trust in God's guiding presence. Thank you for that. And thank you for joining us for this episode of Launch. To access the entire Launch playlist for teeter-totter planning, please go to launchfaith.com or join our group on Vibrant Faith Catalyst. Join us here next time to talk about online ministry tools.